The old rules of retail: bigger, better, faster, and more. Let's talk about the last two, starting with faster. Our lives today encompass almost unimaginable levels of complexity, choice, and mental stress, all compounded by the need to act at a faster and faster pace. And retail is no exception. We've never had so many options to choose from, with new brands arriving in every category at seemingly breakneck speed. Add to this that these options are literally at our fingertips at any moment of night and day. And where we used to find out recommendations from our friends, from charming concepts like word of mouth, now we're bombarded with offers from bots to algorithms. It can all feel like a bit much, but there are signs that things may be evolving, that the tides may be changing. Concepts like American Eagle's new brand, unsubscribed. Private label, 2 collections per year, limiting deliveries and waste, selling clothes designed to be worn forever. This is how they describe the brand: consciously made, slow fashion. We believe in being kind to ourselves, each other, and the world. Others are following suit. Elite fashion brands, reducing their seasons from 5 to as little as 2. Others now describing themselves as seasonless, something that would have been unthinkable just a short time ago. Slowing things down doesn't mean they become boring. I'm reminded of Story, that famed New York retail legend. Story was ahead of its time, flying in the face of an industry stuck in a 7-year cycle of new prototypes and fleet-wide rollouts. Story bucked this trend. While clearly not slow retail, it was perhaps the beginning of a new phenomenon: slow retail design. Stores designed to last, but built with change in mind. Dynamic, flexible, and fun. Powered by the lost arts of retail: visual merchandising, display techniques, theater, lighting, and propping, and the enhancements at the bleeding edge of retail's future: frictionless transactions, artificial intelligence, alternate realities, and an endless, mutable digital canvas. Now that's a future I can get behind. On to the last one: more. There's a forewarning. This last section is about sustainability. And however we cut and slice it, retail has a mountain to climb when we think of the environment. Every action we take, from the things we sell, to the resources we make them from, to the ways they are packaged, to how we get them to the stores themselves, and the resources it takes to run them, to what happens to the products when we're done with them. Everything we do, every step of the way, has an impact. But it's perhaps because of this reality that retail can make more meaningful moves towards good than almost any other industry in the world. But we've got some work to do. Thankfully, some folks are pointing the way, and some folks are taking a lead. And that's what I'm going to talk about. In 2020, McKinsey recommended 5 abatements to the fashion industry to turn the corner. In reality, these 5 abatements apply to all categories of retail, and physical stores are a part of all of them. What follows are the 5 abatements and some shout-outs to the heroes in the business of fashion who are showing us the way forward. Abatement number 1. Make your products from sustainable materials, decarbonize manufacturing, and reduce waste and pollution at the source. Think about a brand like Patagonia, all organic cotton production since 1996, which has led to a 45% reduction in greenhouse gases, 90% reduction in water used, and 0% toxic chemicals. Think about a brand like Everlane and their new denim program. Since 2017, all organic cotton, 0.4 liters of water per pair versus 1,500. They've got a LEED certified factory, powered by 85% renewable energy and 0% waste. The same metrics that apply to products apply to store design and production. Cradle-to-cradle material use, non-toxic fabrication techniques, designed with no waste in mind, and transparency of production. This is about rethinking the old ways and the always ways, and looking for the new ways or the next ways. Abatement number 2. Only make as much as you need. Reduce waste on the back end. Levi's have a project called FLX. Since 2018, it's a totally new operating model. It's developed in-house and centered on on-demand production. This is what they say about it. We are pursuing technology and innovation to enable a shift from the industry's prevailing sell what you make approach to a make what you sell approach that optimizes resource use and minimizes excess inventory. If Levi's can engineer their supply chain to make jeans to order, we can make stores to order instead of warehouses of fixtures with no other use. Abatement number 3. Reduce emissions from your own operations. Recycle, employ sustainable transportation, improve your packaging, and decarbonize your operations. The best example that we've seen is Marks & Spencer's Plan A. Since its launch in 2007, Marks & Spencer's has become certified carbon neutral globally. 87% of their packaging is wholly recyclable. Store energy use is down 47%. Greenhouse gas from refrigeration is down 78%. They are 0% waste to landfill, and fuel use from truck deliveries has been cut in half. They are currently the number 1 sustainable retailer globally. Plan A is literally a roadmap for how to develop and run a wholly sustainable retail fleet at massive scale. And if you haven't seen it, it's worth a look. Abatement number 4. Encourage new customer behaviors, promote rental, resale, and reuse. From Madewell's gently used Brooklyn pop-up to Coach's tomorrow's vintage stores, brands are reintroducing their own products back into the life cycle. And then brands like Nudie Jeans, who through their repair shops are extending the lives of products already in the marketplace. Physical retail is the ultimate venue to encourage these new behaviors, and it's thrilling to see this momentum. Abatement number 5. Clean up your mess. Encourage customers to return products to you, which you will recycle responsibly. Concepts like North Face's Close the Loop. Since 2013, all proceeds to land preservation, and they take garments from any brand. 2 million tons of textiles reclaimed equals 1 million cars off the road, and much of the raw material is 100% recyclable. And once again, a network of physical stores is the perfect vehicle. Imagine this final abatement applied to store design and manufacturing. a whole grassroots movement of stores selling gently used or rental clothing, perhaps from gently used or rental fixtures. So this is a roadmap for any retailer or manufacturer, irrespective of category or size. What are we waiting for? Bigger, better, faster, more. Let's imagine a different tomorrow. From bigger to smaller. Smaller in terms of less footprint in every way. More harmony and balance, less about shock and awe, more about empathy and intimacy. Less about new builds, which are out with the old, and more about rebuilds, which are in with a new. From better, let's move to more meaningful. More meaningful in terms of less talking at and more talking to, or better still, listening. Less about transactions and more about relationships. Less about the numbers, the data, and more about the feelings, the emotions. From faster, let's move to slower. Slower in terms of less rushing, more consideration. Less about an artificial calendar and more about a natural rhythm of things. Less about overhauls, more about built to last with reinventions. And from more, let's move to with less. With less in terms of less of a burden, more of a contribution. Less about waste, more about growth. Less about blindly following, more about responsibly leading. I believe this new path for our industry is wholly attainable. But like any journey, the only way to start is to take a first step. And seeing those changes is perhaps the thing I'm most excited about when I think of retail's future. Thanks so much for listening.